Welcome everybody to STEM Glasgow's CPD on what is STEM. We're going to talk you through some background and talk about the importance of it within the curriculum, and then also finish off with some ideas that you can run in your classroom or for home learning or with your colleagues.
Firstly, some introductions. My name is Hannah Christie and I'm a STEM Development Officer for Glasgow City Council.
And I'm Alex McLaughlin and I'm also STEM Development Officer for Glasgow City Council. So what is STEM? STEM, defined by Education Scotland, stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Maths, and also includes numeracy and digital skills within the definition. This is highlighted because it's vital to enable that everyone participates successfully in society, but also looking at the jobs, careers and occupations that we need moving in forward in the 21st century.
So STEM Glasgows Vision actually marries in really well with that, which is that our young people, practitioners and partners work collaboratively to support the development of STEM-based knowledge, skills and opportunities, increasing the skills for life learning and work, and of our young people in supporting Glasgow's economic development.
So from that, the three key themes in terms of how we move the vision forward is improvement through collaboration. So we've got learner experience at the core, with staff development supporting that and partners supporting that staff development and learner experience.
So first, a wee bit of background about why STEM is actually a focus in education at the moment. Just want to bring your attention to the Aspires report from King's College London. This report was a research project in which they followed about 10,000 young people from early primary all the way through to late secondary, and they tracked what subjects they chose and why they chose them. And what they actually found through this research project was that children aged 10 to 14, they found that's a critical period for forming views of science and STEM, and also aspirations of moving into science and STEM careers.
So what they found was that science is the fourth most popular subject, and against common misconception, that's especially amongst girls. They also found that 73 to 60% of students found that they learned interesting things, but they also found that 80% of young people agreed that they have enthusiastic science and STEM teachers and that the teachers expect them to do well, which is also a bonus.
So you can actually see here that children have really positive views of science careers. So the majority of children agree that science is really useful for their futures, that it's important and useful for getting a good job. 79% believe that scientists do really valuable work. Again, a high percentage agree that scientists are respected by society. And some or mostly think that scientists still make a lot of money.
I think scientists will probably disagree with you on that. So most students, as Hannah said, like science. However, so why do they then not aspire to be a scientist? And as you can see from this graph here, all really positive numbers until that aspirations part, and then it drops quite dramatically.
Yeah, so we have over 70-80% know they learn interesting things. Their parents think it's an important thing to learn in school, that they all believe scientists do valuable work, but it's under 20% of young people actually want to move into that career. So why is it that young people don't want to aspire to move into a STEM or a science career? Well, they really found from the Aspires research project that these are the four main reasons. And a couple of these you'll recognise. We've got down the bottom there ethnicity, and we've also got gender, which are obviously everybody knows about. Number two there, you can see there's popular perceptions of science as being a brainy subject, which I'm sure is something that we all recognise. But really the main issue that we have, especially in Glasgow, is that top one, which is science capital and family habitus. But what is that?
So science capital is knowing people that work in STEM careers and STEM jobs and have interests. So at home they would maybe discuss this or whatever else. And also having people within their family that maybe hold those jobs. If you have a low science capital, that means that you don't maybe come into contact with people that are in those careers. So you actually don't really see someone like yourself going into that job. And that follows on to family habitus, and that looks at family values and practices. And there, as you can see there, it says a sense of who we are and what we do. You hear a lot in the west of Scotland is, we don't do that. That's not what we do in our family. And that's trying to break that barrier and look at all these new opportunities and these new careers, because some of those careers that previously exist no longer exist.
So kind of off the back of Aspires, Education Scotland also ran their own research project across Scotland, which was the National STEM project. And in this, what they did is they looked at clusters across the country and interviewed everybody from pupils, parents and staff about how confident they were in delivering STEM and also aspirations moving into STEM careers. So just to highlight some of the data from that, you can see here confidence teaching STEM, and they interviewed, you can see, practitioners and head teachers from early years right through to secondary school. And they found that the majority of teachers, you can see here, were really confident in teaching maths.
Which is a
Glasgow's
bonus.
actually a little bit higher than the national average. When you move into science, though, you can see there's actually a small number of people that are now not confident or have very low confidence in teaching science, so about 10%. And then finally, when you look at technologies, actually that percentage creeps up even higher, and there's about 40% of teachers have little to no confidence in teaching technologies.
I'm really hoping that's not the technology teachers. So, as Hannah said, they also looked at pupils' opinions, and as you can see here, they actually think that the subjects are interesting, and it's in line with the national average. And they also think a bit of Glasgow Gallisness in there, that they're really good at it. As you can see, the numbers are really high as well.
Mm-hmm. So obviously with that, with young people finding science, technology and maths really interesting and everybody thinking they're really good at it, you would assume that young people would aspire to move into a STEM career. As you can see here, through the National STEM project, they also found out how aware teachers and head teachers are of STEM careers. And when they interviewed them, what they found was that a very small percentage could describe a wide range of STEM careers, but actually almost 30% of practitioners and head teachers couldn't identify any.
And that's including your basic careers, like that we'd recognise as an engineer, because obviously that's in the title, but we're still in the phase of staff and teachers not knowing what STEM is and what a STEM career is.
So if teachers can't identify a STEM career, then who are young people and pupils going to turn to ask for advice?
So as Hannah said as well, they also spoke to parents and carers, and they also asked them what did they think about STEM careers, and as you can see here, this is what they thought about would their children consider a STEM career, and it's overwhelmingly positive. Yep, they thought absolutely they'll consider a STEM career.
But when we actually asked children, are they considering a STEM career, it was the exact opposite, with the majority of both boys and girls saying that they weren't considering a STEM career at all, and only a small minority saying that that was something they would aspire to move into. So
this then kind of feeds in really nicely to another document which we'll add in terms of the PDFs as well, and it's the Developing the Young Workforce. And this was commissioned in terms of looking at careers education and how we get more children and young people into positive destinations when they leave school. And one of the main recommendations, and as you can see it's recommendation 12, is that a focus on STEM should sit at the heart of the development of Scotland's young workforce. And we'll give you a wee bit more information why, but it's very much looking at future in terms of how do we plan for upskill our pupils as well as we can so that they can go into the jobs of tomorrow.
So something that you can actually take back and use in school is a document to go alongside developing the young workforce is the Career Education Standard, which you can see highlighted here. And in this, it actually outlines the entitlements that every young person has to developing the young workforce curriculum, but it also has in here I can statements for at every level which teachers can use when they're actually delivering the curriculum.
Yep, they're really, really handy. Definitely check them out. You'll see this logo about a lot. So from the main document of Developing the Young Workforce, regional groups were set up. We've got the Glasgow group, and they sit within the Chamber of Commerce, and they help support schools engage with employers and get them official business partners if you're in a secondary, but also trying to get more employers into primary schools and get industry experts speaking to the pupils and bringing the curriculum alive. They also did a body of work in terms of mapping out what the world of work is going to look like. And as you'll be well aware, the technological changes in the last 10 years alone have been massive. So moving forward, what do we need best to prepare our young people for moving forward, and what kind of skills do they need. And as you can see here, there's a couple of things highlighted.
But they also looked at, when they were taking part in this research, was the employability opportunities as well across Glasgow and Glasgow City region. And you can see here that health and social care has a massive amount of opportunity there, employing 17% of the workforce, and that's only going to grow over the next 10 to 20 years.
Yep, and as you can see, it's grown. But also, if you look at the top kind of sectors there, tourism, people would maybe not think it's a STEM career. However, there's a lot of data analysts that work in tourism, a lot of look at stats, also collecting data about people moving around cities and whatever else. Construction, again, you might not think a joiner is a STEM career, but actually how much maths do they use every single day, and so on. So you can actually go through all of them and find how STEM is linked into one of them one way or another.
They've also managed to highlight some of the jobs that will be more in demand. So I think everybody thinks with STEM and the way technology is moving that it will all be digital and coding jobs, but that's not the case. You can see, as Alex mentioned, about data, there'll be information and technology jobs, but you'll also be more opportunities in financial and business. You've got early years and childcare opening up there, health and social work, gas and utilities, and also manufacturing. And then by 2025, there'll be over 25,000 roles in STEM-related occupations available as well.
And just to jump in the back of, see the professional, scientific and technical jobs, if you look at the current situation in terms of COVID-19, those jobs in terms of researchers and analysts and track and trace, that's a core STEM job. So the world's evolving, but very much evolving in terms of what are the key skills a STEM career would need.
So a kind of main focus has been as well the skills that will be more in demand for these jobs. So it's not always about the results or the academic qualifications that somebody has, but do they have the skills to actually go into one of these jobs and be successful? So Skills Development Scotland and DYW Glasgow have also highlighted skills to work on and to encourage in young people. And you can see here they're divided into three categories. We've got social intelligence, innovation and self-management. And you need to be able to draw from all three of these to find success in the workforce. So you can see they've highlighted things like communicating, creativity, adapting, critical thinking, and again, all of these skills will be in demand in whatever role you decide to move into.
Yeah. These will often be referred to as your meta skills, and there's quite a body of work in terms of how you develop your meta skills in a pupil as well. We're just going to play you a little video from DYW Glasgow. Again, we'll give you the links for all of these underneath the video as well.
Deciding which career path to take is a challenge all of us must face at some point in our lives, with the job market changing at an ever faster rate. Skills play a unique role in researching the world of work, and the skills that are needed not just now, but also in the future. Between 2017 and 2027, there will be approximately 258,000 job openings in Glasgow. 87% of these will be replacement jobs and 13% will be due to the growth in the economy. Looking across the various sectors, we have looked at the approximate growth predictions for the next 10 years. 91,300 job openings within tourism, hospitality, distribution and retail. 60,400 job openings in finance, business and admin services. 31,400 job openings in health and social care. 19,400 job openings within education. 14,000 job openings in science and technology. 13,400 job openings within construction. 12,000 job openings within the creative industries. And approximately 16,700 job openings in other opportunities. What we can see is that there is an evolution of existing jobs taking place in Glasgow. New tasks, new knowledge and skill requirements, changing work patterns and a greater demand for digital talent. The jobs of today, the jobs of the future. For more information on what you have seen, visit dywglasgow.com.
Okay, so this leads really well into the STEM education and training strategy for Scotland. This is based on the Aspires research, the national STEM project undertaken by Education Scotland, the recommendation from the Developing the Young Workforce policy, and then furthermore, DYW Glasgow and regional groups kind of feeding into that as well. Published in 2017, Hannah?
Yes, published in 2017, and it outlined really 4 key themes that all education establishments should move forward with regard to STEM, and they are excellence, equity, inspiration and connection. So when you go through the document, you'll see these kind of bolded out, and then some recommendations underneath.
I would definitely suggest doing a wee bit of professional reading around this, maybe picking bits and pieces out of it. There's some really nice case studies throughout it as well that have main themes and ideas of how that you could deliver this back in your own establishment. And there's also a nice Glasgow case study in there from Shawmore early years, looking at tinkering and how to be more active in learning. So definitely check it out. So back to this slide that we had at the start. So if you are wanting to introduce this to new members of staff, or you're just wanting to refresh people, or people keep going, oh, what's that buzzword I hear about STEM? STEM is not new. STEM has always been part of the curriculum. It's just been rebranded a wee bit and given a bit more of a juju. Is a juju the right thing to say?
Yeah, we'll go with that, why not? That's fine.
Okay, a juge, I think I meant to say. Anyway, so we've come up with 4 tasks that fit under each of the strands here of science, technology, engineering and maths, that again you could do with some staff that you're trying to explain the purpose of why we should be teaching it and what the job market looks like, but also you could then do with pupils when against your curriculum as well.
Yeah, so we've run this session quite a few times, and staff have really enjoyed it, and they said it's a really great way to engage everybody across the school, people who have quite a lot of knowledge of STEM, but also people who are maybe just starting on that journey, and it's something that you can take, or practitioners can take, as Alex said, take back into class. So the 4 activities you can see outlined here. So for science, we've got Play-Doh elephants; for technology, tinfoil towers; for engineering, paper helicopters; and for maths, we've got tangrams, which is Alex's favourite.
My absolute favourite. With these activities, we've also liked to make it cheap and cheerful. We call it Home Bargain STEM. Other shops are available. However, all the resources that you would need for this could be found in a classroom, potentially in a cupboard somewhere that you've never not used before, but everything is really low key, really low budget, just to make that accessible for all. And especially with the current climate, potentially this is something that pupils could do at home with their parents and carers as well. So the science activity is that you have to create an elephant and you've got to use Play-Doh, but you can only use the commands push, pull and twist. Along with this, you'll also receive a PowerPoint which will have the words push, pull and twist in a random order, and it comes up for, I think it's about 12 seconds, and in that time you can only do that force to the Play-Doh, and by the end of it we expect some absolutely fantastic elephants. And just remember, you can also get African and Indian elephants.
Technology task is about using tinfoil to create the tallest tower that you can. So the reason I've kind of chosen this actually is because a lot of people think when you talk about technology, it has to involve a screen or a plug or electricity, but actually technology is just the practical application of science. So you can do it with lots of hands-on materials. So tinfoil is actually brilliant for this because it can be reused. But the best way to kind of deliver this activity is to tear off about 10 sheets of tinfoil. You can decide the length of them and then give it to a group of people, and then either together or individually they can try and build the tallest tower possible in a limited amount of time. Probably in the current situation that we have, where you can't really share a lot of resources, it's best just to give everybody their own pile of tinfoil. For our engineering task, we have paper helicopters. So for this task, you'll receive a pair of scissors, a template of the paper helicopter, and a paper clip. And in a limited amount of time, you have to work out how to use the scissors to cut the template and include the paper clip to make a paper helicopter that, when you throw in the air, will spin down and land gently on the floor or the table.
This is a really good activity, not just in terms of the actual building, so to speak, of the helicopter, but for fair testing, where you could use different paper, different types of paper, different sizes, different paper clips, again, and also measuring distance travelled in terms of speed as well. So there's lots and lots of learning that can be pulled out of this as well with your pupils.
My advice for this one would be maybe give pupils or staff a couple of extra templates, because normally people make a mistake with the first one, and sometimes that can't be undone. So a few extra templates is a good thing to have at the side.
So this is my absolute favourite, is tangrams, because they are so simple. So a tangram set involves 7 pieces, which you can see that's making a little house in the picture there. And the idea is that this would help with spatial awareness and critical thinking as well. The first task that we're going to set you though is that you've just got to create a square with all of the pieces. So not a rectangle, which some normally ask, is that done? And every single piece has to be used. And the answer also is, yes, it can be done.
Yes, it can. No matter how long you spend on it. Again, the template for the tangram can be found alongside the paper helicopter template, and also the PowerPoint for the Play-Doh elephants. And as Alex said, it can be quite difficult, and you can actually give this to any age. We've tried it with young pupils, but we've also tried it with adults, and it does not matter the age. Everybody enjoys it, but I think everybody struggles with it a wee bit.
And it's really good to build that resilience and perseverance as well, that not give up. So really, really good activity. It can be used in lots of different ways. And again, potentially an outdoor activity as well if you've got slightly bigger tangram pieces.
So lastly, just before we finish, a wee bit of information about how you can get in touch with us if you'd like more information or you'd like other opportunities like the CLPL you've just taken part in. Firstly, we have our website, www.stemglasgow.co.uk, and if you go here, you'll find some background information about the STEM Glasgow team. You'll also find resources, news, updates, how to sign up for our e-bulletin, and also some more DYW pathways. We also once a week have an e-bulletin at the moment that goes out every Friday. If you visit our Twitter, which you can see at the end there, at STEM Glasgow, you can sign up for that, but you can also sign up for that on our website. And again, if you follow us on Twitter, which I'm sure many of you do, you'll see that as well as highlighting resources, DYW pathways, we also quite often put out some Twitter challenges and different ways that you can get involved online. If you would like to just get in touch with us via email, you can see it down the bottom left-hand side of the screen here, stem@glasgow.gov.uk, so please feel free to get in touch if you have any questions.
So that's about sums up kind of short what is STEM, a wee bit of background, some policy documents which you will find really helpful in terms of giving that evidence base, and then some activities that you could do with your colleagues or your pupils as well. All the links will be below the video that you can click into with all the resources. Please share this with your colleagues and anyone that would find it useful, and we'd also really appreciate your feedback. So we've also got a link in there for a really short evaluation, and also any ideas that you have going forward in terms of the type of CLPL that you'll be looking for, especially now that things are starting to change.
Thanks for taking part in the CLPL, and keep a wee eye out as CPD manager for any future opportunities to get involved.
Great, cheers, thank you, bye.
Bye.